Hi everybody, this is Ed Mount, personal trainer, Parkpoint Health Club Sonoma. Today we're going to talk about basic flexibility. So when we're talking about basic flexibility, we're talking about holding a stretch anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. We want to be sure that we're not causing ourselves any pain or discomfort as we're doing this. Pain is not your friend. You're not going to want to stretch if you have any pain. So what we're going to do is just a couple easy upper body stretches, a few lower body exercise stretches. This is all about, again, keeping yourself comfortable, keeping yourself flexibility. You'll notice as we go through things that I have some tightnesses in my body, so you'll see some differences in the way that I stretch when I move. Same thing with all of us. Our bodies are different from right to left and from front to back. So we're going to start off today with a easy shoulder stretch. So this is called a crossbody. I'm going to put my wrist on the outside or upper part of my elbow, and I'm going to let my arm come across my body. This is what I don't want to have happen. I don't want my shoulder up. So shoulder down, and I'm just going to apply gentle pressure here. I'm going to let this hand be nice and relaxed, and I'm just going to stretch out my shoulder. We don't want to lean over. Want to stand nice and tall as we're doing this. We want to breathe slow and deep, nice and relaxed, okay? And again, we're going to hold each of these stretches today for about 30 seconds. This whole routine is going to take maybe about 10 minutes to do. As we release, I'm going to inhale, raise my arms up, and exhale, and I'm going to come into this other side. Again, making sure we're letting our shoulder down. We don't want to have our shoulder up in our ear. Again, sometimes you're going to get a little bit more this way. Sometimes we just don't want to let our body rotate while we're doing this. And you're going to feel the difference from left to right side. That's okay. That's what flexibility is about, trying to bring our body into balance. Okay? Nice and easy, nice and relaxed as we're doing this. Okay, inhale and exhale. I'm bringing my hands behind me. It doesn't matter whether I'm holding my left wrist or my right wrist with my hand, but I'm going to raise up. I do not want to bend forward. I want to be right here while I'm doing this. And again, trying to be nice and relaxed, keeping my hands nice and relaxed back here. I know you can't see it, but I promise you my hands are nice and relaxed back here. And we're just going to hang out here and be nice and easy with this. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do that nice release. We're going to inhale and exhale, and we're going to come down to the floor at this point. Okay, well, I'm sitting here on the floor. One of the things I want to do is I want to be sure that I have a nice alignment with my ankles, my knees, and my hips all in a straight line, so that when I lie down and I bring everything back, that alignment is maintained. Go ahead and drop your head to the floor. What we're going to do now is a simple knees to chest, and we're going to come up this way, and we're just going to hang out here like this, trying to get your low back, let it relax. You're not pressing, but you're letting your low back just go to the floor. If for any reason this is uncomfortable, put your hands in back of your thighs. Let your arms, the weight of your arms, do the work for you. Don't try to press this in. Remember, we're trying to relax. We're not trying to create tension in our body. I also don't want you to cross one ankle over the other, because if you do, you can see what happens. Now, my right leg is higher than my left, or my left leg is higher than my right. We don't want that to happen. We want to try to keep our feet side by side. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to let one leg go back out. I want to be sure that it's not out here, sure it's not out here. I want to have that nice alignment. Now I'm going to drop down a little bit lower, and I'm just going to maintain this position. Now, with me, because of the tightness of my hip does want to let my leg rotate inward a little bit. You know what? I'm not worried about that. Again, I want to be nice and comfortable. So what I'm going to do now is bring up the other leg, and I'm going to bring down this side. Again, looking for that alignment. You can see as I went down, my leg wanted to go out. So I'm going to reposition that, and I'm going to be here. You'll notice this side also wants to inwardly rotate. Again, I'm not concerned about that. I just want to get a nice, comfortable easy stretch here while I'm doing this. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to release. I'm going to have my hands side by side. I'm going to be nice and relaxed. Okay, and now I'm going to come up back into this position. Again, I've got that nice alignment going. I'm going to cross my knee, or I should say my ankle over my knee, and I'm going to gently press my hip outward. And we're just going to hold on to this. This hand can be up. I prefer that your hand be down and actually be out to the side. Palm up. Now we will initiate this hand. I'm going to reach over and I'm going to pull my knee across my body. And as I do that, I'm going to let my other arm go out to the side. I want to try to keep it in line with my shoulder. And here we want to be sure that we're not rocking over, that we're just staying nice and flat. Okay, I'm going to release. Again, looking for this alignment. You notice as I sat down, my leg went right where it's supposed to be. Cross over, palm up, arm out, and gently pressing out. If you have any discomfort at all, don't press out. Let your hands be out to the side. I don't want you to have any groin discomfort while you're doing this. If you can press out, great. Just do it gently. Pain is not your friend. We do not get any extra points for pain. Okay, reaching over, arm out, palm up, and I'm going to bring this across. Again, we don't want to roll up. I want to be sure that I can feel the back of my hips firmly and squarely on the floor on both sides. I don't want my knee to collapse inward. I want it to stay nice and aligned right here. That's my anchor point and the pivot point that I'm working around. And you should feel this stretch through your gluteal muscles. If you do, great. If you don't stress over it. It's okay. That just means that you have nice, light, relaxed gluteal muscles, and that's not a bad thing. Okay, I'm going to release. I'm going to set my foot down, and I'm going to go ahead and sit up after a hold. Rock and hold right here. Hold this for a second, then let yourself come down. That's just kind of a nice little glute tightener while you're doing this, and remind you to keep your back up. Again, I'm going to go into this position. What we're going to do now is a hamstring stretch for our calves. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move over a little bit because I don't want to block my camera angle with this side. And I'm going to let my foot come in. I'm going to have my knee here. This is called a hurdler stretch. Don't stress if you can't be here. You notice if I do that, my hip comes up. It's more important to have your hips nice and flat and just to hold on to this position this way. This is my looser side for my hamstrings, so I can really reach out and I can pull the ball of my foot back, stretching my calves while I'm here. I'm sitting nice and tall, my back is not rounded. I just like to have my hand here. It's just very comfortable for me to do this way. We're going to go ahead and sit up nice and tall. We're going to change sides. We're going to come back into the picture a little bit better for you. Again, you can see that this side is up. If this is uncomfortable for you, let your foot slide down. It's okay. It doesn't break any rules. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reach out, and you can see that this is my tighter hamstring on this side. This is also a very tight hip for me on this side. Several years ago, 8 years or so ago, I had a very severe groin pull, and it took a couple 6 months to get over. And that groin was such a severe pull, it's never been the same. This will always be tighter for me on this side. So I just have to really work at my flexibility in order to keep my hips really happy. And notice I have a tendency to want to really rock up on that side. That's one of the reasons I like to stretch in front of the mirror. I can really watch my form and make sure that I'm staying good and happy. Something interesting now, when I come here into this position, you'll notice that I can reach out and I can get the same position on both sides here. Again, I'm in a very stable, flat position here. My back is nice and flat. The key here that makes it different is the fact that I'm letting both legs work for me in tandem as opposed to doing one at a time. Some stretches, like the first one we started with where we did both knees to chest, I like to start that way and then go singular. Here, I like to go singular and then I like to do this. Reason being is I've helped to loosen up my hamstrings, and this really gives me the opportunity now to stretch my lower back. That's what I'm doing in this position, is stretching out my lower back, not so much my hamstrings anymore. Okay, so now I'm going to draw myself up. What we're going to do now is what we call a rotation stretch. I'm going to bring my right leg into the center point of my body. I'm going to step over with my left. I want my ankle just above my knee. I'm going to put my right arm on the outside of my elbow. I'm going to brace up with my left, and I'm going to rotate to the left side of my body. Go as far as it feels comfortable for you to go. We're just going to hang out here. Again, we're not trying to create tension. We're trying to be nice and relaxed with what we're doing, okay? Head is nice and tall, back is nice and straight. Now we're going to go to the opposite direction, right arm, and we're going to rotate around to the right side. Left arm is on the inside of my knee. Right hand is around in back of me. Again, you don't want to be too far out because then you start leaning over. You want that hand right in back of your hip. That alignment that we were talking about is very important. Okay, so I'm going to come back to the center. I'm going to take my left leg. I'm going to go to the center point, right over, okay? Again, we want to start moving in the opposite direction. So we were just in this position, but in a different leg position, and you'll feel the difference. I can really feel the difference on this side of my body once again, due mainly to that groin injury that I had all those years ago. When our bodies heal, sometimes they heal a little funny, and we develop scar tissue and we develop inappropriate motor pathways. We have to work to correct those inappropriate motor pathways so that we don't have lifelong injuries due to that. That's part of what this basic flexibility program is about. This is giving us the appropriate motor pathway movements. So if we practice these every day, we're going to be less likely to have low back problems. We're going to be less likely to have knee and hip issues, and we're going to feel much more comfortable, and we are going to move much freer and easier. Okay, so that's that rotation stretch. I'm going to come back here. I'm just going to kind of shake out here a little bit. What I'm going to do now is come back into a standing position. Okay, what I'm going to do is have my feet a little bit more than shoulder width apart, and I'm going to come down. I'm going to put my hands to the floor. This I just really like because it's a real good way for me to stretch my calves, stretch my hamstrings all the way up into my glutes. If you feel really super flexible, you can bring your feet all the way together. You can see how I'm coming all the way in and doing this. It really increases the stretch. If you're not real super flexible, have your feet farther apart. This is the preference to be here in this position. Okay, I'm going to slowly draw myself up. I'm going to do that big inhale, and I'm going to do that exhale, and I'm going to thank you all very much for being with me today. Please be safe. Please practice social distancing, and unfortunately, shelter in place. We'll all get through this. Thank you all very much. See you soon.